Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Okay, first things first in this video, you can't have your vest tucked into your belt like that. There you go, good job to you. Okay, welcome to session number 4, day 5 of block 2. We're looking at lower body athleticism. If we were doing just concentrating on bodybuilding or concentrating on just a general person that didn't have the goals I do of Olympic weightlifting and rugby, we'd probably just have a lower body volume day, but with the focus being on squats. But that's not my goals. My goals are to do with rugby and to do with being athletic, because this is a complete athletic adventure. So this is a lower body athleticism day. The reason I wanted to do it this day, because it gives me more time away from the other session, so I can make a complete recovery from it. And the idea is that I can also push myself a lot harder than I would have done, say, on day 1 or day 3 in terms of athleticism, and still get the reward from it. So the emphasis today, again, or the emphasis of this cycle, should I say, is on general strength, and it's a general physical preparedness program. So it's very much an off-season, early off-season type program where we're not looking at anything specific, and that's why the squats come first. We've got sprints and Olympic lifts to come after this, and in about 99% of the programs that I would write for other people, I would actually have the Olympic lifts and sprints come before squats, because you want to do specific work first, because that requires a lot of skill, and powerful work should also come first, because that requires a lot of freshness. You need to be completely fresh in order to perform a skill well, but you also want to be as fresh as you can to perform and improve upon your power and speed. So normally, really not, 99% of the time, we wouldn't do squats first. We would do the Olympic lifts first. We would do sprinting first, box jumps first. All of those sort of power things would come before squats. But because of this cycle, the emphasis is on my squats and my squatting form and my squatting strength. I wanted to make sure that nothing had affected how I went in these squats. So I wanted to make sure they went out perfect. And as you'll see in this set of squats, I sort of lose my balance a little bit, and it shows that they still need work. I think it's this one. Yeah, see, I come forward because I'm not focusing properly, I'm not driving off my heels. But I managed to, that was like a wake up call, and I managed to really drive my knees out on the way down and drive up nice and straight after this. So yeah, the point of these sessions is in this whole block, is to build up general strength. So I wanted to do squats first, because that's the most important, and then I can look at, I still have a good enough ability in my Olympic lifts and good enough sprinting technique, well, I thought so, to do those things after the squats. I might change that up this week, because I don't think the Olympic lifts are anywhere near as taxing as what I thought they would have been, particularly because I'm doing them off blocks at the minute. So I'm going to switch that around for this time, and you should as well. If you're doing Olympic lifts, they should always go pretty much at the beginning of your program. Same thing with sprints and any sort of power work that's not power endurance or any sort of endurance type. The fast stuff goes first, the heavy stuff goes in the middle, and then the accessory stuff goes at the end. That is programming basics. And then to give an insight into the program, what I did next is, for these Olympic lifts, I'm doing them off of blocks, and the reason I'm doing them off of blocks is, as I said, it's less taxing. If I'm pulling them off the floor, that's quite a bit of weight going through my lower back, especially once I'm getting onto heavy clean and jerks, and that's going to hamper my recovery ability, make it harder for me to do my squats, make it harder for me to do my deadlifts and all this other stuff. So when you look at high frequency Olympic weightlifters, they're not concentrating on the deadlifts and the volume of work that I'm going through in other stuff as well. So I still wanted to try and keep it heavy, and this seems like a good little compromise. I can keep heavy weights because I'm pulling them off of blocks, and they're not going to tax me too much. This week I'm going for doubles. Next week I'm also going to go for doubles, and what I'm going to do as the weeks progress is slowly lower that box and pull a little bit lower and a little bit lower before I take the deload. I want to make sure that I try and pull that bar all the way into my hips before. As you can see, I didn't quite get it into the hips there, and I believe I missed this one. The good thing also about doing doubles rather than just going for heavy singles all the time is that if you miss a rep, your chances are it's still light enough that you've made one or two others anyway, so you can still get through the set and they're not too taxing. You don't learn bad movement patterns. Cleans off of blocks comes after this. Then we get into the sprints, which are done for sprinting speed, which means that I have full recovery. I walk back in between every single set. I'm also, just because I've just started out doing these sprints, all I'm concentrating on for this first week is straight line sprinting, and it's short 20-meter acceleration. Also, bear in mind that in rugby, rarely, unless you're like a winger or anything, rarely do you run more than 20 meters in our game. And even if you're a winger, rarely do you sprint more than 20 meters still at any point. So I went from various starting positions, and as you can see, I slowly slowed down because this is my first sprinting stuff that I've done in a couple months. So I wanted to really just get back to basics. And what you'll even notice in this is from the first couple of sprints where my technique looks a bit dodgy, I look like I don't really know what I'm doing, maybe like a bad zombie movie and I'm trying to get away from the zombies, to as I go on from these sets, I get the feel for sprinting back and I started to feel a lot faster myself, if not look that much faster. Various starting positions that I would do in rugby, and that will do for this video. Again, we're on to day 6 tomorrow, which is session 5, and then I can explain the whole system in a wrap-up video, which I will do. Give this a thumbs up, and if you wanted any more sprinting videos, I've got those coming up soon. Comment below any questions you guys have, and I appreciate the love, guys. Cheers.